Hello there, listeners of Radio Emas. I'm Bharani Krishnan, a New York-based cover artist for retro Bollywood hits. I'm also your host for today's weekly segment on the golden age of Hindustani cinema pop from the 1950s to the early 2000 years. Being a native of Malaysia for nearly 40 years before moving to the US, it gives me great pleasure to connect with listeners from my birthplace and share with them my passion for a form of music that has dominated my listening since the age of 3. Thanks to Radio Emas, each week I'm able to bring you the best of Hindi hits from the past 6 decades. After you've listened to the full original version of each song, I will bring you my favorite words and parts from it, which I've covered as an artist and have uploaded to YouTube under my Bollywood Kahani label. If you wish to find my covers on YouTube, just search for Bollywood Kahani. Kahani is spelled as Kahani. Also add the words sweet and short to your search, because that's what my covers are. Short and sweet, running from 60 to 90 seconds each. As usual, we begin our evening with dedications for special events being celebrated by our listeners. And we have had birthdays recently for 2 people all the way down in Australia, and that's Upka Baines of Gold Coast and Ryan Narayanan of Sydney, Prema Somasundram of Singapore, Roy Peter of New Hyde Park in New York, South African twin sisters Rogini Kupusamy and Ragini Chetty of KwaZulu natal region, as well as Kawaljit Kaur, Pemi Murugapan, Malar Munidi, Dhanapalan Narayanasamy, all from my native homeland in Malaysia. Happy birthday, people. Wishing all of you happiness, health and wealth. And now on to our listening set for the evening. To those of you who are just tuning in, you're listening to the golden age of Hindustani film music covering the 1950s through to the early 2000 years, brought to you by New York-based retro Bollywood cover pop artist Bharani Krishnan. Regular followers of our show will know that there's a theme each week that I pick. It could be a combination of my favorite 2 singers or songs of a certain genre. Today we honor Mohd Rafi, who was voted the greatest voice in Hindi cinema in a CNN poll in India. Whether it was fast, peppy tracks, or patriotic, sad, romantic, or classical songs, Mohd Rafi rocked Bollywood. Born in 1924, that would make him 100 next year if he had lived, but he died in 1980. Rafi was known for being able to mold his voice to the persona and style of the actor who was lip-syncing him on the screen. If there was a male parallel to Rafi, it had to be Abbas Kumar Ganguly, who is also known as Kishore Kumar. For as long as Rafi and Kishore were alive, there was always the question among their fans on who was the greater of the two. The debate was made more intense by the fact that Rafi and Kishore were ardent admirers of each other. Rafi would graciously say that no one can sing like my bhai Kishore, and Kishore would return the honor saying there cannot be a greater voice than Rafi Saab's. Such as the spirit of brotherhood between the two. Rafi passed on in 1980 and Kishore in 1987. The debate still continues between their fans on who is the greater of the two. Officially, Rafi is said to have recorded as many as 7,000 songs, but his fans would put the tally at 20,000 or maybe even more. Now let's listen to some of his greatest hits ever in this evening listening set of ours. The first Rafi song you'll hear today is Tere, Mere, Sapne, Ab Ek Rang Hai, which means our dreams are now of the same hue or color, and wherever the paths take us, we'll be together. It's taken from the 1965 movie Guide that stars Hindi filmdom's debonair director and leading man of the 60s and 70s, Deewana, with Wahida Rahman, one of its most accomplished actresses ever. Bollywood is known for its elaborate sets for song picturization, from Colorado's Grand Canyon to the Swiss Alps, from majestic skylines to dozens of accompanying dancers moving in sync with the leading lad and his lady, who are invariably in love or about to fall in love. Hindi films wrestle and dazzle you all the way with their songs, but sometimes it's simple. There's just a scene with 2 individuals in love, no frills, nothing. And that's exactly what the setting for this song, Tere, Mere, Sapne, was. In it, Deewana just walks round and round Wahida Rahman under a tree on the banks of a river. In the midst of a sunset, Wahida Rahman's face is creased with worry about their future together. But Deewana just holds her hand, places her forehead to his heart, serenading her in a voice no less than Rafi's, that their dreams are one. The scene is simply magical. Based on a book of the same title by R.K. Narayan, one of India's foremost writers, Guide was a major box office hit in the 1960s. It narrates the story of a freelance tour guide and the suppressed wife of a wealthy archaeologist who finds love with a tour guide instead. The score for Guide was written by Sachin Dev Burman or S.D. Burman, who together with his son Rahul Dev Burman or R.D. Burman were behind some of the greatest music ever in the history of Bollywood. The words for the song were written by Shailendra, a leading lyricist in the 1950s and 60s. Here's Tere, Mere, Sapne, Ab Ek Rang Hai, meaning our dreams are now of the same hue or color, And wherever the path takes us, we'll be together. In the voice of the one and only Mohd Rafi.
तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग हैं, वो जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। हो तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग हैं, वो जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। मेरे तेरे दिल का तय था एक दिन मिलना, जैसे बहार आने पर तय है फूल का खिलना। मेरे तेरे दिल का तय था एक दिन मिलना, जैसे बहार आने पर तय है फूल का खिलना। ओ मेरे जीवन साथी तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग हैं, वो जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। तेरे दुख अब मेरे, मेरे सुख अब तेरे, तेरे ये दो नैना चाँद और सूरज मेरे। तेरे दुख अब मेरे, मेरे सुख अब तेरे, तेरे ये दो नैना चाँद और सूरज मेरे। ओ मेरे जीवन साथी तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग हैं, वो जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। लाख मना ले दुनिया साथ ना ये छूटेगा, आके मेरे हाथों में हाथ ना ये छूटेगा। लाख मना ले दुनिया साथ ना ये छूटेगा, आके मेरे हाथों में हाथ ना ये छूटेगा। ओ मेरे जीवन साथी तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग हैं, वो जहाँ भी ले जाए राहें हम संग हैं। हो तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग हैं।
How can you not love a song like that? The words by Shailendra, the score by S.G. Burman, and the voice of Rafi, the picturization of it by Vijay Anand, all come together to create magic. Like all the songs on the sets that I play, there's a certain part of Tere, Mera, Sapne that I love more than the rest. And here's that favorite part of mine that forms the second stanza or verse after the second musical interlude of this song. In that part, Rafi goes, लाख मना ले दुनिया साथ न ये छूटेगा. No matter what the world says, we'll be together. आंखें मेरे हाथों में हाथ न ये छूटेगा. Your hands will never leave my hand. ओ मेरे जीवन साथी, ओ my life partner, तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है. Our dreams are now of the same color or hue. जहां बिले जाए रहे हम संग है. Wherever the path takes us, we'll be together. हो तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है. Our dreams are now of the same color. Now here's my short and sweet cover of this. लग मना ले दुनिया, साथ ना ये छूटेगा, आके मेरे हाथों में हाथ ना ये छूटेगा. ओ मेरे जीवन साथी, तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है. ओ जहाँ भी जाए रहे हम संग है. ओ तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है. To listeners who are just tuning in, you're following the golden age of Hindustani film music from the 1950s to the early 2000 years, brought to you by New York-based retro Bollywood pop cover artist Bharani Krishnan. Our segment today honors Mohd Rafi, who was voted the greatest voice in Hindi cinema in a CNN poll in India. Earlier we had Rafi's Tere Mere Sapne Ab Ek Rang Hai, meaning our dreams are now of the same hue or color, and wherever the path takes us, we'll be together, which was to the music of S.D. Burman and the words of Shailendra in the 1965 movie Guide. Next, we have another Rafi classic from the 1960s from a movie called Jungli. Starring the super flamboyant star of that era, Shami Kapoor, with Saira Banu, one of the youngest and most gorgeous actresses of her time. The 1961 Jungli tells the story of a man who lives as his mother's son until he finds the woman of his dreams. I know what you're thinking, but this is not your typical mother-in-law and daughter-in-law battle royal with the son or husband caught in between. Instead, it's a patient and poignant tale of romance where the two lovers declare that we'll please you till we win your heart and only then we'll get married, mummy. The soundtrack of Jungli was scored by Shankar Jaikishan, the duo behind dozens of chart-topping Bollywood songs in the 1960s. The lyrics of Jungli were by Hashrat Jaipuri and Shailendra, both songwriting icons of the 1950s and 60s. The song you're about to hear is "ए सान तेरा होगा मुझ पर, दिल चाहता है वो कहने दो," meaning you'll do me a great favor if you allow me to say what my heart desires. It tells of Shami Kapoor's efforts to calm a distressed Saira Banu when she realizes her mother-in-law to be despises her. The film's title Jungli itself means wild or ill-mannered, a reflection of the perception that Shami Kapoor's mother has for the behavior of people she does not approve of. Here's "ए सान तेरा होगा मुझ पर" in the magical voice of Mohd Rafi.
एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर, दिल चाहता है वो कहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो. एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर, दिल चाहता है वो कहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो. एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर. सिखाया तुमने मुझको हंसना सिखाया, रोने कहोगे रो लेंगे अब, रोने कहोगे रो लेंगे, आंसू का हमारे गम न करो, वो बहते हैं तो बहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो. एहसान तेरा हो होगा मुझ पर। चाहे बना दो चाहे मिटा दो, चाहे बना दो चाहे मिटा दो, मर भी गए तो देंगे दुआएं, मर भी गए तो देंगे दुआएं। उड़ उड़ के कहेगी खाक सनम ये दर्द मोहब्बत सहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो, एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर, दिल चाहता है वो कहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो, एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर।
My, does that Mohd Rafi know how to croon? Boys, if you practice hard enough with a Rafi song, you might just waltz your way into the heart of your favorite girl. So let's look at a part of Ehsaan Tera Hoga Mujh Par that I love the most, and it's in the first stanza right after the chorus, the first verse where Rafi goes, Tumne mujhko hasna sikhaya, you taught me how to smile. Rone kahoge ro lenge ab, I'll cry if you ask me to cry. Aansu ka hamare gam na karo, don't worry about my tears. Wo behete hai to behne do mujhe, let them fall if they're falling. He's referring to the tears. तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, I've fallen in love with you. पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो, let me dwell in the shadow of your eyelashes. एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर, you'll do a great favor to me. दिल चाहता है वो कहने दे तो, if you allow me to say what my heart desires. Now here's my own short and sweet capture of this. तुमने मुझको हंसना सिखाया, तुमने मुझको हंसना सिखाया, रोने कहोगे रो लेंगे अब, रोने कहोगे रो लेंगे, आंसू का हमारे गम न करो, ओ बहते हैं तो बहने दो मुझे, तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे, पलकों की छाँव में रहने दो, एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर। To listeners who are just tuning in, you're following the golden age of Hindustani film music from the 1950s to the early 2000 years, brought to you by New York-based retro Bollywood pop cover artist Bharani Krishnan. Today's segment honors Mohd Rafi, who was named the greatest voice in Hindi cinema in a CNN poll in India. Earlier we had Rafi's Ehsaan Tera Hoga Mujh Par, Dil Chahta Hai Wo Kehne Do Mujhe, meaning you'll do me a great favor if you allow me to say what my heart desires, and that was taken from the 1961 movie Jangri. The next Rafi song is Keh Jho Khat Tujhe, O Teri Yaad Mein, Hazaro Rang Ke Nazare Ban Gaye, meaning if I write a letter to you, those thoughts about you would turn into beautiful scenic views filled with thousands of colors. It's taken from the 1968 movie Kanyadan, which stars Shashi Kapoor, one of the descendants of the Kapoor family that was a major Bollywood brand in the 1960s through to the 90s, a name that shines to date with stars such as Kareena Kapoor and Ranbir Kapoor. Paired with Shashi Kapoor in Kanyadan was Asha Parekh, a top Bollywood heroine from the 1960s. Kanyadan speaks of the social issues around child marriage, which remains a practice still today in some rural parts of India, where parents determine whom their children should end up with even before the kids attain puberty. Kanyadan is a courageous attempt by filmmaker Mohan Sehgal to expose this ancient Indian practice and its brutal consequences on society. Like Jungli, the soundtrack of Kanyadan was by the Shankar Jaikishan duo. The words to the song you're about to hear were written by Gopal Das Niraj, a Hindi poet from the 1950s. And here's the song Keh Jho Khat Tujhe, wo teri yaad mein hazaro rang ke nazare ban gaye. It comes to you in the voice of the one and only Mohd Rafi.
लिखे जो खत तुझे वो तेरी याद में हजारों रंग के नजारे बन गए. लिखे जो खत तुझे वो तेरी याद में हजारों रंग के नजारे बन गए. सवेरा जब हुआ तो फूल बन गए, जो रात आई तो सितारे बन गए. लिखे जो खत तुझे. कोई नगमा कहीं गूंजा, कहा दिल ने ये तू आई. कहीं चटकी कली कोई, मैं ये समझा तू शर्माई. कोई खुशबू कहीं बिखरी, लगा ये जुल्फ लहराई. लिखे जो खत तुझे वो तेरी याद में हजारों रंग के नजारे बन गए. सवेरा जब हुआ तो फूल बन गए, जो रात आई तो सितारे बन गए. लिखे जो खत तुझे. फिजा रंगी अदा रंगी, ये इठलाना ये शर्माना, ये अंगड़ाई ये तन्हाई, ये तरसा कर चले जाना. बना देगा नहीं किसको जवां जादू ये दीवाना. लिखे जो खत तुझे वो तेरी याद में हजारों रंग के नजारे बन गए. सवेरा जब हुआ तो फूल बन गए, जो रात आई तो सितारे बन गए. लिखे जो खत तुझे. जहाँ तू है वहाँ मैं हूँ, मेरे दिल की तू धड़कन है. मुसाफिर मैं तू मंजिल है, मैं प्यासा हूँ तू सावन है. मेरी दुनिया ये नजरें है, मेरी जन्नत ये दामन है. लिखे जो खत तुझे वो तेरी याद में हजारों रंग के नजारे बन गए. सवेरा जब हुआ तो फूल बन गए, जो रात आई तो सितारे बन गए. लिखे जो खत तुझे.
There's an ethereal quality to Mohd Rafi's voice that lifts your heart and literally makes it sing. And that's evident in this song about a lover who says just thinking about his sweetheart makes his heart bloom with 1,000 hues. My favorite part of this song resides in the first verse, right after the first musical interlude, where Rafi says, Koi nagma kahi gunja, kaha dil mein ye to aayi. When any song echoed anywhere, it told my heart that you came. Kahi chakti kali koi, मैं ये समझा tu शर्माई. When any flower bud shone anywhere, I understand that you were feeling shy. कोई खुशबू कहीं बिखरी लगा ये जुल्फ लहराई. When any fragrance spread anywhere, it seemed to me that you had let your hair free. लिखे जो हाथ तुझे वो तेरी याद में हजारों रंग के नजारे बन गई. If I were to write a letter to you, those thoughts about you would turn into beautiful scenic views of 1,000 colors or hues. सवेरा जब हुआ तो फूल बन गए, जो रात आई तो सितारे बन गए. When it was morning, they turned into flowers. If night came, they became stars. Now here's my short and sweet cover of this. कोई नगमा कहीं गूंजा कहा दिल से कि तू आई. कहीं चटकी कली कोई वे समझा तू शर्माई. कोई खुशबू कहीं बिखरी लगाए जुल्फ लहराई. लिखे तो है तुझे वो तेरी याद में हजारों रंग के नजारे बन गए. सवेरा जब हुआ तो फूल बन गए, जो रात आई तो सितारे बन गए. लिखे तो है तुझे. For listeners who are just tuning in, you're following the golden age of Hindustani film music from the 1950s to the early 2000 years, brought to you by New York-based retro Bollywood pop cover artist Bharani Krishnan. Our segment today honors Mohd Rafi, who was voted the greatest voice in Hindi cinema in a CNN poll in India. Earlier we had Rafi's Keh Jho Khat Tujhe, wo teri yaad mein hazaron rang ke nazare ban gaye, meaning if I were to write a letter to you, those thoughts about you would turn into beautiful scenic views filled with thousands of colors. The next Rafi song probably will go down as one of his greatest ever. ये मेरा प्रेम पात्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो. Meaning, if you were to read this love letter of mine, I hope you will not be angry, for you are my life, for you are my prayer. It's taken from the 1964 movie Sangam, which means confluence. Sangam was a trendsetter that changed filmmaking in India in so many ways. It was a triangular love story based on the subject of fidelity and trust, without which no relationship can survive. Sangam is directed, produced and edited by Raj Kapoor, the doyen of the Kapoor family, who also starred in it, along with Rajendra Kumar and the gorgeous Vaijayanti Mala. The soundtrack of Sangam is by Shankar Jaikishan, and the words for this particular song was written by Shailendra. Here's Ye Mera Prem Patra Padkar Ki Tum Naraz Na Hona, Ki Tum Meri Zindagi Ho, Ki Tum Meri Bandagi Ho. Meaning, if you were to read this love letter of mine, may you not be angry, for you are my life, you are my prayer.
मेहरबान लिखूं हसीना लिखूं या दिलरुबा लिखूं, हैरान हूँ कि आपको इस खत में क्या लिखूं. ये मेरा प्रेम पत्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो. ये मेरा प्रेम पत्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो. तुझे मैं चांद कहता था मगर उसमें भी दाग है। तुझे मैं चांद कहता था, मगर उसमें भी दाग है। तुझे सूरज मैं कहता था, मगर उसमें भी आग है। तुझे इतना ही कहता हूँ कि मुझको तुमसे प्यार है, तुमसे प्यार है, तुमसे प्यार है। ये मेरा प्रेम पत्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो। तुझे गंगा मैं समझूंगा, तुझे जमुना मैं समझूंगा। तुझे गंगा मैं समझूंगा, तुझे जमुना मैं समझूंगा। तू दिल के पास है इतनी, तुझे अपना मैं समझूंगा। अगर मर जाऊं रूह भटकेगी तेरे इंतजार में, इंतजार में, इंतजार में। ये मेरा प्रेम पत्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो। ये मेरा प्रेम पत्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो।
I've told you this is one of Rafi's greatest songs ever, and the sheer emotions that he puts into it simply leaves you mesmerized. My favorite part of the song is towards the end where Rafi says, Tujhe Ganga mein samjhunga, Tujhe Jamuna mein samjhunga. I will think of you as the river Ganga, I'll think of you as the river Jamuna. Tu dil ke paas hai itni, tujhe apna mein samjhunga. You are so close to my heart, I will think of you as my own. Agar mere jao roobat ke ki teri intezar mein, intezar mein, intezar mein. If I die, my soul will wander waiting for you, waiting for you, waiting for you. Ye mera prem patra padkar कि तुम नाराज ना होना. When you read this love letter of mine, may you not be angry. कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो. For you are my life, for you are my prayer. Now here's my short and sweet capture of this. तुझे गंगा में समझूंगा, तुझे जमुना में समझूंगा. तू दिल के पास है, तुझे अपना में समझूंगा. अगर मर जाऊं रूह भटकेगी तेरे इंतजार में, इंतजार में, इंतजार में. ये मेरा प्रेम पत्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो. ये मेरा प्रेम पत्र पढ़कर कि तुम नाराज ना होना, कि तुम मेरी जिंदगी हो, कि तुम मेरी बंदगी हो. Listeners who are just tuning in, you're following the golden age of Hindustani film music from the 1950s to the early 2000 years, brought to you by New York-based retro Bollywood pop cover artist Bharani Krishnan. Our segment today honors Mohd Rafi, who was voted the greatest voice in Hindi cinema in a CNN poll in India. Earlier we had Rafi's Ye Mera Prem Patra Padkar, Ki Tum Naraz Na Hona, Ki Tum Meri Zindagi Ho, Ki Tum Meri Bandagi Ho, which means, when you read this love letter of mine, may you not be angry. For you are my life, for you are my prayer. Next we have Rafi's Mitwa, Mere Tere from the 1970 film Geet. Geet tells the story of a cowherd who sings and plays the flute effortlessly and who meets his match in a celebrity singer who has come to his village for a break from her stressful life. Love follows, but so does jealousy from her manager who wants her for himself. The rest of the plot is about how the two lovers disentangle the knots and get back together. Geet paired the beautiful Mala Sinha with Rajendra Kumar, a 1960s and 70s actor who was also known as Jubilee Kumar in honor of his ability to turn any movie he starred in into a silver jubilee, meaning the film would run for 25 weeks at least in one cinema. Mohd Rafi had sung for Rajendra Kumar more than for any other actor in his 40-year career in at least 60 movies. Geet, directed by Ramanan Sagar, ran for 604 days in one cinema alone in the Colombo capital of Ceylon, the old name for Sri Lanka, making it the longest running film in the history of that country, which is south of India and where Hindi is also spoken and understood by many. The score for Geet was by Kalyanji Anandji, another musical duo like the Shankar Jaikishan duo, which rocked Bollywood from the 1960s to the 80s. The lyrics of Geet were written by Anand Bakshi, Hasrat Jaipuri and Prem Dhawan. Here's the song Aaja Tujhe Pukare Mere Geet Tere, O Mere Mitwa, which means please come, my song is calling out for you, my song is for my companion, in the golden voice of Mohd Rafi.
Mere Mitwa, आजा तुझको पुकारे मेरे गीत रे, मेरे गीत रे, ओ मेरे मितवा, मेरे मित रे। आजा तुझको पुकारे मेरे गीत रे, मेरे गीत रे, ओ मेरे मितवा। नाम न जानूं तेरा देश न जानूं, नाम न जानूं तेरा देश न जानूं, कैसे मैं भेजूं संदेश न जानूं। ये फूलों की ये रुत न जाए बीत रे, आजा तुझको पुकारे मेरे गीत रे, मेरे गीत रे, ओ मेरे मितवा। तरसेगी कब तक प्यासी नजरिया, तरसेगी कब तक प्यासी नजरिया, बरसेगी कब मेरे आंगन बदरिया। छोड़ के आजा, तोड़ के आजा, दुनिया की हर रीत रे। आजा तुझको पुकारे मेरे गीत आजा तुझको पुकारे मेरे गीत रे, मेरे गीत रे, ओ मेरे मितवा.
Once again, Mohd Rafi hits the jackpot with this one, a song that was a chart buster in India for years and years. My favorite part of Mere Mitwa is in the first stanza of the song that comes right after the first musical interlude. In that part, Rafi sings, Naam na janu, Tera des na janu. I neither know your name nor your country. Kaise me beju sandes na janu. I do not even know how to send you a message. Ye phoolon ki, ye julon ki. This season of flowers and joy. Rut na jaye beet re. Don't let this season pass by without you. Aja tujhko pukare mere geet re, mere geet re. Please come, my song is calling out for you. My song is Mere Mitwa, Mere Mitre. Oh my companion, oh my friend. Now here's my short and sweet cover of this. नाम न जानू तेरा देश न जानू, नाम न जानू तेरा देश न जानू, कैसे मैं भेजूं संदेश न जानू. ये फूलों की For listeners who are just tuning in, you're following the golden age of Hindustani film music from the 1950s to the early 2000 years, brought to you by New York-based retro Bollywood pop cover artist Bharani Krishnan. Today's segment honors Mohd Rafi, who was voted the greatest voice in Hindi cinema in a CNN poll in India. Earlier we had Rafi's Aja Tujhko Pukare Mere Geet Re, O Mere Mitwa, which means, please come, my song is calling out for you, my song is, oh my companion. Next, we have Rafi's Deewana Hua Badal from the 1964 Kashmir Ki Kali, meaning the bud of Kashmir. This is the first duet in this listening set where Asha Bhosle, one of the original 5 superstar voices of Bollywood, sings alongside with Rafi. As the title suggests, the film and song was shot in Kashmir, the icy northern region of the Indian subcontinent. The setting for the song itself was on Kashmir's famous Dal Lake, where lotus flowers bloom and intricate houseboats line its banks. Kashmir Ki Kali was directed by ace Hindi filmmaker of the 1960s and 70s, Shakti Samanta, and it happens to be the debut film of Shamila Tagore, one of Bollywood's most gorgeous and talented actresses ever. Shamila also is the mother of current-day Bollywood star Saif Ali Khan. Cast alongside Shamila Tagore in this movie was Shami Kapoor, the super flamboyant Bollywood hero of the 1960s. The soundtrack of Kashmir Ki Kali was by O.P. Nair, who is considered to be one of the most rhythmic and melodious music makers in the Hindi film world. The lyrics to the songs were penned by S.H. Bihari. Here's Rafi with Asha Bhosle on Deewana Hua Badal, which means even the clouds become mad with love.
दीवाना हुआ बादल, सावन की घटा छाई, ये देख के दिल झूमा, ले प्यार ने अंगड़ाई, हुआ बादल। तो मेरी तकदीर न थी तुम सा जो कोई महबूब मिले। दिल आज खुशी से पागल है, दिल आज खुशी से पागल है। ए जान वफा तुम खूब मिले, ऐ जान वफा तुम खूब मिले। दिल क्यों न बने पागल, क्या तुमने अदा पाई, ये देख के दिल झूमा। ले प्यार में अंगड़ाई, दीवाना हुआ बादल। बरसों से खिज़ां का मौसम था, बरसों से खिज़ां का मौसम था। वीरान बड़ी दुनिया थी मेरी, वीरान बड़ी दुनिया थी मेरी। हाथों में तेरा आंचल आया के बहार आई, ये देख के दिल झूमा। ले प्यार ने अंगड़ाई,
दीवाना हुआ बादल। सावन की घटा छाई, ये देख के दिल झूमा। ले प्यार ने अंगड़ाई,
दीवाना हुआ बादल। सावन की घटा छाई, ये देख के दिल झूमा। ले प्यार में अंगड़ाई, दीवाना हुआ बादल।
What an incredible duet that was, not just for the voices of Rafi and Asha, but also the magical combination of Opi Nayar's music and Bihari's words that together transported us to a virtual Kashmir mountainside with a lake. So let's examine the part of the song here that's my favorite, and it comes in the first stanza itself, right after the first musical interlude, where Rafi says, "Aise to meri takdeer nati." My fate was once not as such. Tumse jo koi mehboob mile. To have met a lover like you before. Dil aaj khushi se pagal hai. Today my heart is crazy with happiness. Ye jaan e wafa tum hoob mile. Oh my faithful one, we met at the right time. Dil kyun na bane pagal. Why should my heart not go crazy? Kya tumne ada pai. What style you have. Ye dekh ke dil juma. Upon seeing her, my heart swayed. Lil pyar ke angedai. And love sprung forth. Deewana hua Badal. The clouds became mad with love. Now here's my short and sweet cover of this.
तुमसे जो कोई महबूब मिले दिल आज खुशी से पागल है दिल आज खुशी से पागल है ए जाने वफा तुम खूब मिले ए जाने वफा तुम खूब मिले दिल क्यों न बने पागल क्या तुमने अदा पाई ये देख के दिल चूमा ली प्यार में अंगड़ाई दीवाना हुआ बादल.
For listeners who are just tuning in, you're following the golden age of Hindustani film music from the 1950s to the early 2000 years, brought to you by New York-based retro Bollywood pop cover artist Bharani Krishnan. Today's segment honors Mohd Rafi, who was voted the greatest voice in Hindi cinema in a CNN poll in India. Right before this, we had from Rafi Deewana hua Badal, a song from Kashmir Ki Kali. Our final song for the evening is Tumne Muhje Dekha from the 1966 movie Tisri Manzil, which again stars flamboyant hero Shami Kapoor, this time opposite Asha Parekh, a top leading lady from the 1960s and 70s. Tisri Manzil, which means the third floor, is a Vijay Anand directed and Nazir Hussain produced story about suicide of a woman from the third floor of a building, a revenge attempt by her sister, and the resultant star-crossed love between the characters played by Shami Kapoor and Asha Parekh. But more than all this, Tisri Manzil became a box office hit because of the music of R.D. Burman, who shot to phenomenal success in his first movie itself as a full-fledged composer, after assisting his dad S.D. Burman for years. Tisri Manzil contains 6 chart-busting hits written by renowned Hindi poet Majrooh Sultanpuri. The one you're about to hear is Tumne Mujhe Dekha Hokar Meherban, which means you've been kind enough to look at me.
तुमने मुझे देखा होकर मेहरबान रुक गई ये ज़मीं थम गया आसमां जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा होकर मेहरबान रुक गई ये ज़मीं थम गया आसमां जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा. कहीं दर्द के सहरा में रुकते चलते होते, इन होठों की हसरत में तपते जलते होते, मेहरबान हो गई जुल्फ की बदलियां, जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा होकर मेहरबान, रुक गई ये ज़मीन, थम गया आसमां, जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा। ये हंसी जलवे तुम भी न कहाँ पहुँचे, आखिर को मेरे दिल तक कदमों के निशान पहुँचे, खत्म से हो गए रास्ते सब यहाँ, जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा होकर मेहरबान, रुक गई ये ज़मीन, थम गया आसमां, जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा होकर मेहरबान, रुक गई ये ज़मीन, थम गया आसमां, जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा।
What a rendition that only Mohd Rafi can make with his fabulous voice. My favorite part of this song is towards the end, where Rafi declares in the character of Shami Kapoor to his love interest Asha Parekh, "O lekar he haseen jalwe, with this beautiful grace of yours, tum bhi na kahan pahunche, you have gone too far. Ahir ko mere dil tak, finally towards my heart, kadumon ke nishan pahunche, your footsteps found their way. Hatam se ho gaye raste sab yahan." It's like all roads have ended here. Jane man jane jaan. Oh my dear, tumne mujhe dekha hokar meherban, you've been kind enough to look at me. Ruk gayi ye zameen, tam gaya asman, the earth has stopped moving, the sky is silent. Jane man jane jaan. Oh my dear. Now here's my short and sweet capture of this.
हो लेकर ये हंसी जलवे तुम भी न कहाँ पहुँचे, आखिर हो मेरे दिल तक कदमों के निशान पहुँचे, कदम से हो गए रास्ते सब यहाँ, जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा होकर मेहरबान, रुक गई ये ज़मीन, थम गया आसमान, जाने मन जाने जा तुमने मुझे देखा।
Dear listeners, that concludes our hour today on the golden age of Hindustani music, and I thank you all for listening. Once again, happy birthday to Upka Bains of Gold Coast, Ryan Narayanan of Sydney, Prema Somasundaram of Singapore, Roy Peter of New Hyde Park in New York, twin sisters Rogini Kupasamy and Ragini Chitti of KwaZulu-Natal region of South Africa, as well as Kawaljit Kaur, Pammy Murugapan, Malar Munindi, and Dhanapalan Narayanasamy, all from my native homeland of Malaysia. God bless you all and thank you all for listening. Terima kasih dan salam sejahtera dari Radio Emas.